What is up? It is the Dark Iron Gains Community Fitness Podcast, episode 4. The last podcast I did with our good friend Punish Thrax. I accidentally said it was episode 2, but it was actually episode 3. So if you caught that, big ups to you, because I did not catch that until it was already uploaded. However, this is episode 4, so continuing with the Community Fitness Weekly Podcast. I'm not feeling all that well today, these past 2 days. I've had a bit of a sinus infection, although I am getting over it. Yesterday I felt a little worse. I didn't feel too bad. I don't feel that incapacitated, but it was definitely enough to sort of feel sick. I knew that something is up, but today I feel great. I went to the gym, even though I wasn't feeling it yesterday. I wasn't feeling great yesterday or the day before, but I went and I did cardio. I lifted heavy, and now today I feel exponentially better than I did. So just a heads up and a word of advice: if you're feeling bad and you're not, totally crippled from it, if you're sick and you're not totally knocked on your behind from it, go to the gym and you might feel a little better afterwards. One thing that's sort of been going around my area is I live in a big city, so there's a huge coronavirus scare going on, of course, in every major city. Actually, globally, everyone's freaking out about the coronavirus, buying toilet paper, all sorts of stuff. They actually canceled the rodeo out here because, they didn't want people going over and showing up and spreading it in the huge crowd. They canceled the Arnold Expo portion, but they still did the competition, which I thought would be a little weird if I was a competitor and nobody was cheering and you were just kind of posing on stage to whatever track you wanted to pose to. But they canceled the Expo part of the Arnold. They canceled the rodeo. And also, more recently, they canceled South by Southwest in Austin, Texas, which I'm about 2 hours away from Austin. So, and South by Southwest sucks anyway, so it's like, okay, cool, you canceled it. Next step, they should just cancel the whole thing, never do it again, right? This year, cancel South by Southwest, and then never do it again, because South by Southwest sucks. Austin kind of sucks. Austin is like the LA of Texas, right? It's like, it's nothing but homeless junkies and burnouts who went over there to try and make it in the music industry, whatever music industry Austin has to offer. And then they ended up, doing too many drugs or whatever, living on the street, asking for money. And they're rude, too. They're rude homeless people in Austin. If you give them like $1, they'll be like, man, that's all you got? It's like, damn, bro. Like, seriously? I just gave you $1, bro. But anyways, Austin sucks. And they canceled South by Southwest because coronavirus scare. But honestly, they should cancel it anyways because it totally sucks. All this coronavirus stuff. I went to the store today and it was just pandemonium. It was like a pandemic, coronavirus pandemic at the grocery store. All the toilet paper was gone. Nobody's buying any real food though. It doesn't look like anyone bought like any of the chicken or turkey or anything you have to cook. I saw like all the obese people loading up on like Lucky Charms and cereals and all sorts of like, donuts and chips and then toilet paper because they're going to have the shits. They're scared they're going to have the shits from the coronavirus. And if they don't get it from that, they're probably going to have the shits from all the nasty, disgusting food they've just bought. And so they're stocking up on toilet paper for that. There was a bunch of water. They say that water is selling out quick. You can't buy more than 4 gallons. But honestly, it's like people don't drink water. Normally, a lot of people just drink soda. They can't stand to drink a liquid without sugar or flavor in it. So all the soda was gone. but there was plenty of water there. So anyways, like I said, at the grocery store, it was total chaos. Everyone just getting in front of everyone to steal the next box of Lucky Charms and Fruit Loops, and take your 2 liter of Mountain Dew and then some toilet paper, because you're gonna have the shits when you're pouring your Mountain Dew into your Fruit Loops. It's gonna give you uncontrollable diarrhea, and that's why all the toilet paper is being sold. But in all seriousness, the coronavirus, I guess, is a legitimate scare, although I'm not scared of it. You should be scared if you're like a boomer. You should probably be scared. But me, being a young, healthy, sort of mid-20s roider, not really roider, but, mentally roider, I don't have anything to fear because my test levels are through the roof right now, naturally, because I'm lifting heavy, I'm eating my meals, and I'm getting after it every day. I got things going for me, so I don't have anything to be scared of when it comes to the coronavirus, because honestly, to me, the coronavirus is just a joke. All right, I'm not scared of it. I think people should be scared of AIDS. People should be more scared of AIDS than the coronavirus. What happened to that? What happened to the AIDS scare? Nobody cares about AIDS anymore. It's like, oh, you know what? You got AIDS? Cool, bro. I got coronavirus, dude. I'm in the hospital for 2 weeks. I got to isolate myself for 2 weeks because I got coronavirus. Tell me about your AIDS, bro. Go on. Tell me how you feel with AIDS now that you know I have coronavirus. No, all joking aside, wash your hands, do all that good stuff to protect yourself. The mask apparently doesn't do anything for you, from what I've heard. So wearing a mask kind of defeats the purpose. Not necessarily defeats the purpose, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't help you in any sort of way. You just look like a, AIDS patient. You just look like you have AIDS. But anyways, so that's what's been going on in my city. And apparently you have to isolate yourself if you test positive. But me, being a natty roider right now, I'm not scared. So nothing to fear. Especially because I'm lifting heavy, I'm getting after it, and I got high T levels. And with high T levels, you don't have to worry about the coronavirus. But like I said, I got stuff going for me, and I guess I'll use that to kind of segue into this next little portion of what I wanted to talk about. I'll keep it short. I'll keep it plain and simple. For the Community Fitness Podcast, episode 4, this next little subject. So I got some stuff going for me right now in life, right? In my life, I got stuff going for me, and I've been on a steady upward track, a steady, I guess, uphill climb for maybe the past 6 years or so. And now I'm finally getting to a point in my life to where I feel like I have some bearing and some control, and it feels great. And I'll share some experience with you guys when it comes to life, right? When it comes to focusing on yourself. Sometimes you have to set time aside to really kind of invest in yourself, and not let people lead you in a direction you don't believe will benefit you in the long run, right? So, back in the day, I used to hang out with a lot of people. I had a lot of friends. I was cool, and I still am. And I don't think I left anyone on any ill terms. But I will say, hanging out with a crowd of people, you're kind of caught up in the hive mind, right? What everyone in the crowd wants to do. Whether you think you are or you're not, there's still some sort of influence there. Influencing the way you think, right? The stuff you want to buy, the stuff you want to spend your money on and invest your time in. So you have to kind of separate yourself from the hive mind to really get a feel for what you want and get a feel for the future that you want to carve out for yourself. And sometimes when you do this, people get upset. They feel uncomfortable around you because now all of a sudden you're starting to step out of your own boundaries and the boundaries that they've built for you, right? So what happens is some people will put you in a little box in their mind, right? If you're like someone's friend and they get a sort of superficial self-esteem boost from being your friend because they think that they somehow have a higher moral standing than you, or some sort of higher position in social hierarchy than you. They'll put you in a box and they'll keep you there and they'll hang out with you because they think, oh, this guy's worse off than me, so I'm gonna hang out with him because he makes me feel better about myself because he's so worse off than me. I can look at his life when I know my life sucks and I can say, you know what, his life sucks even more. So I feel good about myself and I'm gonna try and keep this guy in that position. I'm gonna try and make sure I do everything I can to sabotage this guy when things start going his way because it makes me feel good about myself to have him in a position that is lesser than my position, right? And to explain, basically, people will put you into a box. They'll put you in a small little box in their head about the kind of person they think you should be. And when you start overstepping those boundaries, when you start working your way out of that box, it makes them uncomfortable. They don't like to necessarily see that, so they'll say little snide remarks here and there, or they'll try and sabotage you in some way. They'll try and maybe slander you, or altogether just cut you out. And honestly, if they cut you out, that's probably the best thing that could happen for you, because then you're on your own and you finally have some clarity. Some easy clarity to go forth with whatever challenge or direction you're trying to go in life. So, like I said, when you start stepping out of those boxes, out of those boundaries, you'll get some snide remarks from people. Like, you'll get, like, if, let's say, this is a small example, but let's say, you buy a new car and it's a nice car, and your friend who's been trying to slowly and connivingly manipulate you sees that you bought a new car and it's nicer than his. So he'll go over to it and he'll be like, oh, it's nice, but it looks like there's a ding here, bro. You wasted your money on this nice car and there's a ding on the door. And you wasted all that money and now you have a ding on this nice car door. So it's not really that nice. They'll say something to kind of bring you down a few notches, A little example here. I recently moved. Well, I didn't recently, but a few years ago, I moved out of the city, and I had some people tell me, "Oh, you're moving to the suburbs," and it's like, yeah, I'm moving to the suburbs. The city sucks. I hate the city. I hate the city life. I'm not an urbanite, right? It's like, oh, dude, cool. You work where? You work at Best Buy making $10 an hour, and then you go to a brewery to spend all your $400 a week? No, all right? And how much do you pay for rent? You're scraping by? You have to ride the bus everywhere? No. Screw that. The city sucks. All right? It is suburban life that is where it's at, because you get a career, you move out to the suburbs, and you just chill, right? And if you want to live in the city, there's nothing wrong with that. But just don't dog people who want to live in the suburbs, right? Like when someone tells me, oh, I want to move to the city, I don't tell them, what I just said. I don't tell them, dude, that's a stupid idea. I don't say any of that, because sometimes it's not a stupid idea. I mean, economically, maybe they can walk to work, right? Maybe they make enough money to buy a $5,000 a month loft downtown, if you're up north, that's like a normal living situation for you. So I feel bad for you guys up north because you have it pretty hard when it comes to property taxes and rent and so on and so forth. But this is just a small example, so don't get caught up in the numbers here. I'm getting a little off track, but don't make fun of people for moving to the city, and don't make fun of people for moving to the suburbs, especially if it has no effect on your life. I mean, don't make fun of people for anything that has no effect on your life, and that's what people do. They're so wrapped up in what you're doing because it makes them uncomfortable when you start to get ahead of them. They're so vested in your life because they really just don't want you to succeed, right? It's like, oh no, he can't be doing this because I haven't done this yet. He can't be settling down and starting a family because I haven't done it yet, or he can't be buying a home and having a good life with someone he loves because I'm not doing it yet. There's people out there who definitely don't have your best interest in mind, and who will slowly try to manipulate you into falling back into that pit, right? And so you can usually tell who's genuine by the way someone reacts to what you say, right? I don't tell a lot of people my plans, not because I'm looking for approval or anything like that, but because I honestly don't care what they have to say about what I'm doing, because as long as it benefits me, I don't think anyone else should necessarily care, right? And when people tell me stuff, I get excited for them. If people are going down a good path and people have something going for them, I'm like, dude, that's awesome. I'm stoked to hear it, man. If you need me for anything, just reach out, whatever, right? When people have something good going on, I'm excited, especially when it's a good friend of mine. I get excited for people, and not a lot of people do that nowadays. Nowadays, if you tell someone, like if I sat and I said, dude, you know what? I just won a $10,000 lotto on a scratch off. Some people would be like, oh, cool. They wouldn't care. They'd be like, oh, cool. You know what? I quit playing the lotto because blah, 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 and it's a waste of money, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. They would make it about themselves. But some people, they'd be like, dude, that's awesome. I'm so stoked for you. You're a friend of mine, and I'm glad you're succeeding, right? They wouldn't say it not necessarily like that, but, they would at least be supportive, and that's how I like to be, right? Because if you're superficial about it, and if you're like, man, he's getting ahead of me, and he shouldn't be because it makes me uncomfortable because he is so much lesser than me. It's like, you know what? Maybe he's not lesser than you because he's focused on himself. Maybe you should focus on yourself. Maybe you shouldn't be so superficial, So just a warning to everyone out there. Watch out for the superficial manipulators in your life. Cut out the toxic hive mind if you can. The group, right? If you're hanging out with a group of people, nothing wrong with having a group of friends. But if it's a toxic group of friends, then there is something wrong. And you should try and be aware and evaluate what's going on, and kind of keep an eye out for snide little remarks here and there, when people try and sneak in a little tear down, when they try and sneak it in to where it's like, oh yeah, you know what, that's cool, but it's not as cool as what I'm doing. It's not as cool as me, bro. You're moving forward in life. Oh, you got a good paying job and you got approved for a mortgage. That's cool, bro, but it's not as cool as me living with 5 dudes in a rundown apartment in the ghetto, whatever. Just watch out for that. And always be weary of the toxic people in your life, right? You gotta watch out for those people. Otherwise, they'll drag you down and they'll keep you in a position of, looking like a dummy. All in all, you'll look like a total dummy because you sold out for your friends, or your so-called friends, not necessarily your friends. You sold out for someone who doesn't have your best interest in mind, right? So don't sell out for people who don't have your best interest in mind. Don't be superficial. Try and see what's deeper. Try and look beyond the superficial, right? And also watch out for the coronavirus because it's out there, and all the fat people are buying up the Mountain Dew and the toilet paper and all the Lucky Charms. But anyways, that's basically the end of this podcast. It's a short one. Well, I guess it's about the same length as the other ones, but 20 minutes, that's all I really got for y'all. I'll probably have a long one eventually, a long-form podcast maybe with another person on here to bounce some ideas off of, or just to have a discussion, whatever, once I figure out how to use the Discord video chat. Boomer moment. Once I figure out how to use Discord server video chat or Skype accurately, where I can record me and whoever else talking back and forth, it won't be that difficult. I just got to sit down and get to it and figure it out. But I'm pretty sure it's not that difficult. But anyways, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for the support. We are currently working on another t-shirt design that hopefully comes out sometime this weekend, maybe next week. We got another video in the works, and we're probably going to be printing the It's Okay to Be a Lifter shirts soon. So keep an eye out for that. And thanks again, everyone who's listening. You guys have a good night and sleep tight. Peace.